Joining me now, Congressman, Republican 2nd District, Virginia, Scott Taylor on the Appropriations Committee, former Navy SEAL. Congressman, good to have you with us today on such short notice. Thanks for joining us. Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller. What do you make of this whole thing, Scott Taylor?
Well, you know, there's obviously the DC's paralyzed right now because that's all we hear about every day from Democrats is the Russians, the taxes, the Russians, the taxes, and of course the president is fighting back, rightfully so. And however, that being said, some ways that he fights back I think is not productive, but that's his prerogative. Obviously, this is an independent decision by the acting AG to do this. So now that it's done, all right, cool. Let the facts lie where they may. And I think the president should double down on his agenda. Let's get some stuff done. I mean, quite frankly, the potential positive of this is to be able to perhaps take some of the wind out of Democrats' political sails. I mean, really, I don't know how they have a leg to stand on for every single day talking about Russia this, Russia that.
Right.
And I'd hope the president would use all the energy he has to work towards the agenda that we want to get done.
Look, Congressman Taylor, what you're saying now makes a lot of sense, is that the big thing they were calling for, special counsel, special counsel, special counsel, now they have it. Nobody, I don't think that's reasonable, can argue with the selection, the credentials of Robert Mueller, right? I mean, he has a storied career, so you're comfortable there. So now he's got to go and do his job. And what we were telling some of our callers earlier is, although there's still the FBI investigation, and there's the Mark Warner, Richard Burr in the Senate, Adam Schiff, and who's ever now in charge of it in the House, whatever that's going to, they're all subservient to the special counsel, right? That investigation has the most power, so they're all subservient to that, right?
There's no question, and look, the bipartisan panel, they can do their thing, no problem. But I think that for Democrats, I believe, as long as Republicans politically play it right, because you can undermine the Democrat message if they're going to continue to do what they've been doing, and that is literally taking up airtime every single day, and the media, for that matter, talking about this and just pounding on the president on this, and quite frankly, sort of derailing what he's there to do, and that's the agenda. So I would hope that the president does not spend energy on this. Let it take its course. He says there's nothing there. All right, cool. Let the facts lie where they may, and let's get something done for the American people. And I mean, that's why, as every Trumpster out there, including myself, who voted for him, we want to get some stuff done. So I would hope that he can just channel all that energy towards that and let that take its course.
Okay, I've got a couple of text questions here. Well, one comment from Marty Williams in the 3rd District, not your district, who says, Tidewater is very fortunate to have Scott Taylor in Congress, a true patriot with a commitment to serve. I love Scott Taylor. That's from Marty Williams. Larry,
thanks, Marty. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to you running again.
Larry in Virginia Beach says, please ask Representative Taylor, and here is his question, if there are any current efforts in Congress to provide aid to the folks in Venezuela suffering this latest round of oppression and violence from the government. Larry in Virginia Beach.
Larry, that's an excellent question. It's something that I believe that Congress is not paying enough attention to. Our backyard in the Western Hemisphere, as you well stated, Venezuela is falling apart, and it has potential to have regional instability as well too. You're seeing pregnant women going over the border into Colombia just to get health care, and that's just one little instance. There's tons and tons of problems with that. There's potential for arms to be trafficked as well too. I'm actually having dinner with the Colombian ambassador. I think it's next week with some other members as well too to get that perspective from them down there. But he's right. There's not enough attention to it, and I'm trying to bring more attention to it because it's our own backyard, and we want to make sure that we're abreast of the situation and that we're helping out however we can.
And also,
but there's not enough attention to it right now.
So our audience knows that Scott Taylor, when he was a Navy SEAL, you spent a lot of time in South America. You speak very fluent Spanish. Are you planning personally maybe to lead a delegation down there to find out exactly what is going on, Scott Taylor?
Well, I actually just got invited to a delegation that's going to hit down in Dominican to Colombia as well too, to figure out the situation not only in Venezuela but also with the potential peace agreement with the FARC down there, and that's later on this summer. I think it's at the end of July, early August, or something like that. So we just got that invite from a subcommittee chairman of Foreign Affairs. I think it was a couple of days ago. So we're just trying to see if that fits into the schedule. If it does, then I definitely will.
Okay, let's go to, I've only got a couple more minutes, this White House Oval Office meeting with the Russians, where apparently the president talked about the fact that ISIS is trying to get bombs in the computers. It's kind of been out there in the news. Of course, anything that he says is declassified when he says it. That's being the power of the president. Of course, that story made it in the New York Times the other day. Look, I mean, you were there, not in the Oval Office at that time, but as a Navy SEAL, I mean, you know what happens if real classified information gets leaked. It didn't seem to a lot of people that there was really anything to that story. Scott Taylor, what's your reaction?
So, whoever's regardless of who's in the presidency, obviously, number one, they do have the power to declassify information. There's no question about that. Number two, they themselves can't be careless either. And I don't know what the transcripts were. I haven't seen it. I don't know what he said. I do understand that the intelligence community called back to the CIA and to the NSA to alert them, and perhaps that's where the leak came from, of course, one of those two places. But, you know, the fact that they did that tells you that they were concerned about perhaps the Russians being able to connect the dots or something like that. But I think any president, anyone that has classified information cannot be careless and casual with it. I'm not sure if the president was or not, but if it's true, in fact, that he did leak something that allows for Russians to connect the dots, then that is obviously inappropriate because it jeopardizes people's lives out there. And you'd have to say that about any president. All
right, Scott Taylor, final question. Tax reform, with all this going on, all this counselors and everything surrounding the president, are we going to get anything done?
I believe we can. Like I said, I would hope that my colleagues and the president channel this energy towards that exact thing and getting that done, and just completely delegitimizing, any political attacks by Democrats, any further ones. Be like, look, it's already got a special prosecutor. Shut up. Let's get some work done. If you're sitting there talking about that all day, then you don't have a seat at the table, and you're not there doing things for your people that you represent. I would just cut them off with that. But I think that I think we can absolutely get tax reform done. There's a huge desire for that in this country from everyday people, from representatives, from the White House. Let's channel this energy and let's get some stuff done.
All right, we're out of time. I want to thank Congressman Scott Taylor for being with us on short notice today. Congressman, it's always a pleasure to have you on, and you've got a lot of our listeners out there think you're doing a great job. I get a lot of positive feedback. So more information, you can go to scotttaylor.us. That's scotttaylor.us. Scott, thank you so much for being with us. And
appreciate you guys. Have a great day.
The next week or so, I'm going to be doing my show from your office, and we appreciate that invitation as well. That's going to be a lot of fun.
You're welcome anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.